A blind woman gives birth to triplets under a bridge. Abandoned by her husband and broken by poverty, she crawls through the rain to save her dying baby until a billionaire stops his car and everything changes. But what she didn't know was something shocking was waiting for her. Let me take you back to where it all began. 8 months ago, Amina could sing. Her voice in the church choir brought tears to people's eyes. She was just a house help, scrubbing floors for rich families, sending every shilling to the orphanage that raised her. But she had dreams. She had beauty. She had a voice that thanked God even when life was tough. Then she met Joseph. He wasn't a big man, just an Ola rider dropping off food at fancy houses. But when Amina heard him singing to his radio, something inside her moved. That voice, she whispered, hands wet from washing dishes, sounds like hope. 3 months later, they were in love. The deep, sweet kind of love poor people hold tight because it's all they've got. Joseph would fetch her after work on his bike, and they'd share ugali by the roadside, dreaming of a life built on faith alone. Then came the news that changed everything. Triplets. The doctor at the clinic showed them the ultrasound. 3 babies, all growing strong. Joseph dropped to his knees right there, not scared, but full of joy. God has blessed us 3 times, Amina. 3 times. We asked for 1 child, and he gave us 3. But as her belly grew, something in Joseph shifted. The happiness in his eyes turned to worry. The singing stopped. He worked longer, saw her less. We need to do this right, he said one morning, looking away. I must go to my village, tell my family, get their blessing, fix everything. How long? Amina asked, her heart already feeling heavy. 1 week, maybe 2. He kissed her forehead fast, like he was already leaving. Take care of our babies. That was 7 months ago. 7 months. The babies came early, born under a bridge in the rain while Amina cried out alone. No Joseph, no help. Just her, God, and 3 babies fighting to live. The owners kicked her out after she could no longer hide her pregnancy. Now she crawled through mud, asking herself, did he run when 3 babies felt too big? Did he find a woman with less to carry? Or was he still in his village free while she begged for their children's lives? All she knew was he left and never came back. All she knew was promises break easy when you're poor. For 3 months after the babies came, Amina tried everything. She begged at stops. She slept in half-built houses. She knocked on church gates. But when one of the baby's lips went blue and her breaths got weak, Amina knew time was slipping away. That's why on that rainy morning, despite the storm, despite her pain, she pulled herself to Nairobi's busiest junction, where the richest people drove by every day. If God wouldn't hear her prayers, maybe money would. Rain fell hard that morning, turning streets into muddy rivers. At Nairobi's main junction, where big men in shiny cars made big plans, a young mother crawled through the flood. Amina's fingernails were ripped and bloody from scraping the ground for months. Her knees, once soft, were now open sores, leaving red streaks in the water. But that pain was nothing next to watching her baby fade in her arms. Amina couldn't walk. She couldn't see straight, but she could crawl. Her triplets, 3 babies born together, were tied to her with strips of old cloth. The same cloth she wore to church when she met Joseph. That felt like a different life. Please, sir, help me. Her voice pushed against the rain-hitting car roofs. My baby is dying. Just help me save my baby. The cardboard sign in her hands was melting in the rain, but the words lived in her soul. My baby is dying. Please help. She wrote it with charcoal from a burnt stick, the only thing she could find. 2 of her babies wailed against her chest, Hanny and Mary. But Gia, her little lips were blue, her breaths like tiny, fading prayers. Please don't go, my baby, she whispered, tears lost in the rain. Mama is trying. Mama will find help. Just stay with me. But every day, the dying baby felt lighter, like her spirit was drifting off. A woman in a Toyota cracked her window. Why don't you go to the hospital instead of begging here? They turned me away, Amina said, rain mixing with her tears. I don't have any to deposit. Please, ma'am, anything. My baby needs heart medicine. The woman shut her window and sped off. Amina was used to people's scorn. She knew how she looked, a filthy woman crawling with too many babies. Some thought she was mad, others thought she was lying. God, I'm not asking for me, she whispered, kissing the baby's cold forehead. Just let my baby live. Take me instead, but let her live. Her left leg dragged behind, broken from birth. Rain soaked her bandages and she felt the cut splitting open. But that hurt didn't touch her. It was the baby's soft gasps that broke her. She'd been beautiful once. Men turned heads at church. That's how Joseph found her, a house help who sang in the choir with a voice that moved souls. When she told him about the triplets, he dropped to his knees in the churchyard. 3 babies. 3. He said it over and over, like he couldn't believe God gave them so much. He was an Ola rider, saving for their tomorrow. One day, he'd say, I'll build you a house big enough for our 3 miracles. Our triplets won't suffer like us. Now she could barely picture his face. The pregnancy stole her sight, as the nurses said, before they stopped seeing her for lack of money. Everything was blurry. She moved by sound and gut, chasing traffic noise to places where help might come. Please, sir. She crawled toward a black Mercedes, stopped at the light. Rain hid its details, but she knew it screamed wealth. 2 men leapt out, bodyguards in dark suits. Ma'am, get off the road! You'll cause trouble! My baby is dying. Amina crawled harder, fear pushing her on. Please, let me speak to your boss. Just 2 minutes. One guard grabbed at her, but a voice came from the car. Wait. The window slid down, and Amina peered up at a face she couldn't make out. But the voice was warm, steady. What's wrong with the baby? The man asked. James Mwangi was 45 and worth billions of shillings. He built K-Pay from scratch, changing how Kenyans moved money. That morning, he was headed to a deal that could grow his world even bigger. But something about the woman in the rain stopped him. Maybe it was how she cradled the babies, guarding them as she crawled. Maybe it was the raw need in her voice. Or maybe it was his own mother, who once begged to save him when he was small. She has a hole in her heart, sir, Amina said, rain drowning her tears. The doctor said she needs surgery or she'll die. I've got nothing. I've been begging for 3 months. She's slipping away. James leaned closer. Even in the storm, he saw the blue lips, the chest fighting to rise. Can you stand? He asked. No, sir. My leg, Amina pointed to her twisted limb. Since I gave birth, I can't walk. In my eyes, I can't see well. But I can work, sir. If you help my baby, I'll do anything. Park the car right, James told his driver. He stepped into the rain, his fine shoes sinking in mud. His guards looked shocked, their boss knee-deep in floodwater, reaching for a beggar. How did you get here? James asked, soft despite the noise. It's a long story, sir, Amina said, then choked as Gia's breathing faltered. Please, talk can wait. She needs help now. James didn't pause. He turned to his guards. Get her in the car. Careful with the babies. Sir, your meeting? Get them in, now. The guards lifted Amina gently, though she still winced in pain. Inside the Mercedes, she sat on the edge, scared to ruin it. Water dripped everywhere, and she tried to shrink. I'm sorry, sir. I'm dirtying your car, she whispered. The car can be fixed. Your baby can't wait. Driver, Kenyatta National Hospital, quick. As they raced through Nairobi's traffic, James watched the woman beside him. Even broken, she held each baby with love. She murmured prayers and promises, kissing their tiny heads. What are their names? He asked. Hanny, Mary, her voice cracked, and Gia. They're triplets, sir, born that night under the bridge. Hanny came first, loud and mad. Mary came next, so fast. But Gia? She looked at the dying baby. Gia came last. The others cried, but Gia struggled to breathe. The others are hungry. I haven't eaten in 2 days, so my milk's gone. Where's their father? Her body stiffened. He went to his village 7 months ago to tell his family about us, to get their blessing so we could marry properly. A sob broke free. But he never came back. They pulled into Kenyatta National Hospital. James jumped out, yelling for help. Nurses ran over. A stretcher came, but Amina pushed it away. Take my baby first. Please, she's dying. A team took Gia while others circled Amina. They looked grim. Madam, you need help too, a doctor said. You've got infections, maybe internal bleeding. I don't care about me. Amina tried to crawl after Gia. Please save my baby. As they wheeled Gia off, Amina's heart shattered. She heard her baby's weak breaths fading down the hall. My baby, she screamed, dragging herself despite the pain. She only knows me. Don't let her die alone. Nurses held her back as she fell, sobbing on the floor. We need payment first, an administrator said. Heart surgery is $800,000. For you, it's $2 million for everything. I'll pay, James said, grabbing his phone. $800,000, $900,000, whatever it takes. Start now. Sir, we need papers. Do you know me? James Mwangi. I fund this hospital. Start, or I call the health minister. The administrator rushed off. Soon, Gia was in surgery and Amina was prepped for hers. Sir, you don't know me, Amina said as they wheeled her away. Why do this? James took her hand. Because I can. And because someone helped my mother once when I couldn't. Rest now. Your babies need you. In the waiting room, James paced, scrapping his meetings. He thought of his mother, selling vegetables in Jacamba Market, limping but never whining, saving every coin for her boys. She died before he could ease her load. Hours later, a doctor stepped out. The baby's surgery worked. She'll be fine. The mother's hurt bad but will live. She'll need therapy to walk, and her eyes should get better with care. James exhaled. Give her the best. Money's no problem. He called his brother Solomon, running their business in Nairobi. You've got to hear this, James said, spilling it all. Solomon's voice shook. It's like Mama's story, like we've got to help her. Days passed. James visited daily. He saw Amina's joy when she got glasses and saw her babies clear. He was there when she took her first steps, crying but pushing on. He brought food, baby clothes, books to fill her recovery. Why are you so kind? Amina asked one night. Kindness doesn't need a why, James said, but deep down, her story held him tight. On the 10th day, James handed her a card. Keep this safe. When you're out, call me. We'll get you a place to stay. Amina gripped it tight. Thank you, sir. You saved us. James had to fly to America for a deal. I'll be back in 3 days, he promised. Hold that card close. Next day, Amina was walking with Gia when someone knocked into her. She stumbled, and when she checked, the card was gone. She searched everywhere, but it was lost. That night, she wept, feeling she'd let down the man who gave her hope. The hospital let her go the next morning. With nowhere else, she took a bus back to the junction, praying James would pass again. For 3 days, she waited, watching every car. At night, she slept at a mosque, the caretaker's wife helping her. On the 3rd day, a black Mercedes rolled by but didn't stop. Amina's hope sank. Inside, the driver, Musa, spotted her in the mirror. He knew her face and felt a pang for not stopping sooner. After dropping Solomon at a meeting, Musa went back. Amina was still there, feeding her babies. Madam, I'm James's driver. Come, I'll take you to him. Amina scooped up her babies and climbed in. Musa called James. Sir, I found her. She lost your card and waited 3 days. Bring her to the house now, James said. At the Mwangi mansion in Nairobi's rich hills, Amina felt small. The place was grand, with gardens and a fountain. Solomon was in the living room working. When he saw Amina, he stood slow. You must be Amina. My brother told me. Then James burst in, weary but relieved. He dropped to his knees, tears falling. I thought I lost you. I thought I failed you like I failed my mother. Amina told him everything, the lost card, waiting in the rain. She cried, holding Gia. I'm sorry, sir. You did so much and I couldn't keep your card. Stop, James said softly. You're here. That's enough. Solomon spoke. Tell us your story from the start. Amina set the babies down and began. I never knew my parents. They died when I was 3 in a Matatu crash. I grew up in an orphanage in Mathare. At 15, they got me work as a house help in the Westlands. She paused. I worked for families, saving to learn a skill. Then I met Joseph at church in Nairobi. He was an Ola rider. We fell in love. When I got pregnant with triplets, he was happy, but went to tell his family in Kisumu. He left to get their blessing and never came back. I thought he left us, but I hoped. She told of birthing alone under the bridge, begging for months, and James saving them. Solomon wiped tears. Our mother sold vegetables in Jacamba Market, limping from an old hurt. She died before we could help. Your story's like hers. We'll make sure you never suffer again, James said. Sir, I can work, Amina said. I don't want handouts. This isn't a handout, Solomon said. It's right. It's what people with plenty should do for those with little. They talked late. Amina shared her dream of a shop. The brothers vowed to help. That night, Amina slept in a soft bed, her baby safe. She wondered about Joseph. The next day, the brothers set up a house in a good area. They started hunting for a shop. 2 months later, Trinity Hart's shop opened in Nairobi. Amina's business mind was sharp and ran it well. Months passed in blur. 6 months after that rainy day, Amina was checking books when her phone rang. An unsaved number. Hello, is this Amina? I'm Joseph's mother. I've been looking for you. Amina's hand shook. Tears rolled. "Mama, Joseph left me. He never came back." Silence. Then the old woman said, "My daughter, Joseph, is dead. He died 7 months ago." Amina's world spun. "What?" "He came to the village, told us about you and the babies. He was so proud. He borrowed $30,000 for hospital bills and left to return. On the way, an accident took his life." Amina sobbed, knowing Joseph tried to come back. He loved them to the end. All those months, she thought he ran, but he was racing home with help. She called James and Solomon, telling all. They arranged for Joseph's mother to visit. At the airport, Joseph's mother met Amina and the babies, weeping as she saw her son's kids. She brought photos and tales of Joseph, proving his love. Amina named her shop and a foundation after her journey, aiding women in need. 5 years later, Amina stood at the junction again, opening a clinic for mothers and kids. She'd risen from the crawling mother to a businesswoman and helper, thanks to James and Solomon. Her story showed kindness can change everything, and no hardship lasts forever. Behind every heartbreaking moment, there's a heartbeat that refuses to give up. Amina's story is one of millions. Share this episode and let someone else remember what's possible, even in the darkest places. If you enjoyed this story, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Also tell us your thoughts. Should she have carried resentment? Would you have helped someone if you were a billionaire? I mean, it does not take a stash of money to help anyone. It just requires a heart to help, isn't it? We love hearing from you all. Until next time, stay kind, stay curious, and keep listening.